Okay, so Devstream 179 just happened not too long ago, and they covered a good amount of stuff. Now, before I go into everything they cover, I do want to cover what's on screen right now, which is that it's going to be a TennoCon 2024 VIP at TennoCon. It's apparently going to have karaoke. You'll get access to early merch and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. I believe they said that it's going on the day before the actual TennoCon 2024, but don't quote me on that. We also got confirmation of what we already know, which is that Protea Prime Access is coming out next week on the 1st of April. So we know that already. We also got a little bit of information about Warframe 1999, just that, proto frames, Mag proto frame and Excalibur proto frame, and we got more confirmation about the bike. We also, I didn't have any assets for these, that's why I'm mentioning them right now. We also got confirmation that the new Nightwave is going to be May 15th. It's going to both end and start on that day. Apparently, just a couple hours apart from each other. So that's pretty cool. Honestly, because the other day I was literally saying that, oh, Nightwave had been going on for a ridiculously long amount of time. So there we go with that. And they solved the whole waiting a week or two problem. So that's pretty cool, I suppose. Now let's go with what I have assets for. Okay. I do have an asset for Jade Shadows, which is the majority of what they talked about this stream. But before we get to that, we did I mention what is coming in their interim update on May 15th. Just like we already mentioned most of. But what I didn't get to is that new Daybreak skins. They aren't they aren't weapons. The Daybreak series, they're skins for certain weapons. Actually, what you're seeing on screen right now, Excalibur is holding one of the weapons that have the Daybreak skin on it. So they're just kind of like Daybreak type themed, like daybreak, just like fresh in the morning, sunrise, daybreak type thing. What you would normally think of as a daybreak type thing. We're getting new TennoGen for Mag, Revenant, and Brook. We are also getting Akuba Sobek and a Tenet Galaxion, which it's funny we're getting a Tenet Galaxion because I'll explain more at the end why we are getting a Tenet Galaxion. Because for those of you guys that don't know, Galaxion primary cold damage. But before that, let's look at Jade from the backside, I guess. The Jade is look like the official name of the frame is going to be Jade, and from what I know of her, she kind of is like this angelic type frame. So I guess if Stalker had a counterpart, she would be a counterpart. In fact, she is getting her own weapons. Yes, she's getting her own weapon. 3 weapons. They are basically all going to be like quote unquote light versions of Excalibur's weapons with not Excalibur, of Stalker's weapons. They're not gonna be edgy, they're gonna be like the opposite of edgy. If that is a thing. That's what they are going to be. She's also coming with an alternate helmet, a cinematic quest featuring the Stalker, a landing craft skin, a Stalker themed landing craft skin called Terror, of course it is, new TennoCon Ureli Deluxe, Helan event, The Belly of the Beast, new game mode, Ascension, quality of life improvement, and enemy scaling and status effects rework, which I will get into for the most part because we have a few more things to go through before we get to that, such as this. This is going to be a new XMS. I'm actually a bit worried about this new XMS because Rebecca kept saying there are more than there should be. And then Pablo and Rebecca said, good luck, good luck, good luck. So I'm hoping they aren't like a one-shot kill type thing that would actually be annoying and low-key maybe ruin the game for me as I know it. Is that a little dramatic? I don't know. We'll see. But wait, there is more. They're making it easier to acquire Necromex. Again, most of these updates won't happen till Jade Shadows, which I believe is in June. Don't quote me on that, but I believe they said they're trying to push it out by June. They are releasing the drop rate of this. They are lowering rather the drop rate of both Shadow Stalker drops as well as Wolf of Saturn 6 drops. So maybe more of you can actually get that Wolf Sledgehammer. Yes, that's the melee weapon the Wolf of Saturn 6 drops. The Wolf Sledgehammer. The annoying part about the hammer, though, is that literally all the parts you need it are to build it are drops from him. So, you need the blueprint and you need the other parts as well. So that's the biggest thing. We already talked about Ureli Deluxe. Let's see what else we have here. Okay. So this is something we should talk about. They're adding suggested damage type because they are basically simplifying damage types across the board. Factions are going to have different damage types they're weak to as a whole, whereas usually it's like, oh, if they have armor, they're weak to corrosive, but if he is stripped of armor, they don't have corrosive anymore, so they're not weak to corrosive, and just stuff like that. They're simplifying it. They're making it so faction A is weak to this, faction B is weak to this, faction C is weak to this. But they are making it so sub-factions might actually have a resistance to thrown in because, it's supposed to be quote unquote end game content. They're doing quality of life. As I mentioned, Necromech, acquisition improvements, AI increase for next gen consoles. What they mean by that is enemies, like more enemies on screen, stuff like that. Because right now, if the host is on console, you'll get less enemies at one time on screen. So they're looking to change that. And yeah, that is about most of what we went over. Oh, they are also working on Whispers in the Wall being replayable. They are hoping to have it figured out by Jade Shadows. And then finally, this, okay? They are basically nerfing enemy armor. They are buffing their health a little bit to try to compensate for the nerf of the armor. The reason they are nerfing the armor is because they don't want damage, they don't want armor strip 100% to be literally a requirement. They want people to be able to run other stuff and maybe just have like 10%, 50% armor strip. Because right now, at higher level enemies, 100 is literally needed, or else you do like nothing. So they're looking to change that. Enemy shield adjustments mostly apply to Corpus because they're making it so the Corpus shields can actually recharge over time if you don't destroy them, which I think is interesting. I mean, our shields recharge over time, I guess. And there we go, circling back to the, um, weapon that I mentioned earlier. Yeah, the Tenet weapon, remember? Yeah. They are nerfing, or rather, buffing blast and cold damage because they don't like that those two are never used at all. Most people think blast damage is useless, which, I mean, I kind of have to agree with them. Blast damage is good for a meme, but if you actually want to do any damage to the enemy, blast is not the way to go. They're also making it so cold damage freezes enemy. That's interesting because that means Frost's one could actually freeze enemies. I mean, I still have his one on his kit because that's how you get rid of a bubble, a frost bubble, your frost bubble. But yeah. But yeah, those are the things. Also, they said they talk more about Jade Shadows in the next dev stream, and they said that the next dev stream coming next month is going to be the last dev stream before TennoCon 2024. So definitely feel free to stay tuned to the channel. And with that said, I will catch you guys in the future. Later.